All right, guys, we got a good show for you today. We have Berkley Edwards. He just recently played in the FCF for the Zappers. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, no problem. Appreciate you having me.
All right, a few would you rather's to start. Would you rather fight Brutus or Goldie the Gopher?
All right, my bad. Can you say that again? My bad.
Would you rather fight Brutus or Goldie the Gopher?
Brutus.
All right. Would you rather fight the Karate Kid or Spider-Man?
Karate Kid.
Okay. Would you rather have a Lamborghini in your garage or a bookcase with 9,000 books and infinite knowledge?
Oh, infinite knowledge. That's a hard one for me. But I'm gonna go infinite knowledge because I love cars.
Yeah, okay. Let's get into your football now. So I always talk about the FCF with people to start, but I really want to start off with like your collegiate career, a little bit about that today. So
Okay.
out of high school, you were, four-star recruit, one of the top players in your state. You ended up choosing Minnesota. Why did
Yeah.
you decide to go there out of high school?
So when I visited Cal, Berkeley, and I went to Iowa too. Those are my official visits. But then when I went to Minnesota, I don't know, it was just something about the atmosphere and the guys that I was on the trip with that were being recruited. I don't know, it just felt like home. I like the coaches again, like the players that was being recruited with me. So I'm like, hey, this feels right. I got that gut feeling. So I said, hey, I'm coming to Minnesota.
Yeah. So you played a lot your freshman year, a little bit less your sophomore year.
Mm.
What made you be like, hey, this is time for me. I need to go to Central Michigan.
Yeah, so what was happening was we had some tough things going on with the coach. So the head coach was having seizures on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then he had Jerry Kill. So then he had to retire. And so once that happened, things kind of got sporadic and people didn't know what was gonna go on. So I got up out of there. I said, yo, I'm not about to stay and I don't know what's going on. New coach, new staff, everything. So I ended up leaving.
Yeah. So would you take away or learn the most, you think, from your experience in Minnesota?
Um my biggest thing was just hard work, really. I mean, I was already a hard worker, but being able to compete with some of the top guys in the country and some of the most underrated guys in the country too. We had a few JUCO transfers, and they were some of the best guys I've ever played with
Mhm.
in all my career.
Yeah.
So really, just being able to work hard and be able to compete every day is
Yeah.
is what I took away from Minnesota.
Yeah. Your senior year officially you set out because of like transferring and you were like a
Hmm.
scout team player. What was
Hmm.
it like kind of taking that like step back for a year and being, like on the sidelines while you couldn't play?
Well, for me, because like I said, I compete every day when I come to practice. So being on scout team actually kind of helped me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Going in there, being able to read defenses,
Mhm.
focusing up on my craft. Because I'm a running back, but and at scout team, I
Yeah.
play receiver. Like I play receiver every day because I'm like I know how to play running back. Yes, I can get better at running back,
Yeah.
and I'll continue to do that. But I play receiver every day just to get better at my routes, get better on my feet. Because the game today is just not doing one thing. You got to be able to do multiple things. So for me, being able to play receiver and focusing on that really helped my game shoot up.
Yeah. I mean, talk about like you said, it's like more like a universal. You became a kick returner a little bit at Central Michigan a little bit.
Yep.
Was this is like in your back of your mind? You're like, if I'm gonna make it to like the pros down the line, I need to learn how to do all of these positions. So then teams will see me as a more universal player.
Um. Yes and no. Yes and no. People were telling me, hey, you got to be able to do this, and that. Um. Kick return kind of just happened already, just because I did it in high school. And I did it in little league too. So that was like, hey, he's fast, so we're gonna put him in kick return. But for receiver, it kind of started actually that started out in high school where I used to go to 7-on-7 was
Yeah,
really taking off. It wasn't as
yeah,
big as it was today, and running backs don't really get the ball in 7-on-7.
yeah,
So I had to learn how to play receiver so I can get the ball more. So
yeah,
then what ended up happening was, again, starting to compete with people. I didn't like getting locked down. Like I
yeah,
didn't like receivers being able to cover me and defend the ball. So now I'm watching these other guys who were naturally more gifted than I was. Like a
yeah,
lot of people way naturally more gifted than I am at football and everything. I just worked my ass off at everything. So I ended up getting good at that. And then fast forward to college, again, being able to take that year off and then get even better at receiver. Ended up just being, hey, now I can just play both of these. And then obviously, the pros or upper levels want you to be able to do more than one thing. So it kind of just fell in that way.
Yeah, and talk about your final season at Michigan. You guys made the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, had a really good year. What was your favorite memory that season?
Ooh. It was a few. Maybe I think the biggest one was we ran the kickoff back. We ran a kick return back on Notre Dame first game.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest one for me.
Yeah.
There were a couple other big games, doing some good games, but I think that was probably the biggest moment for me.
Yeah. Oh, I have to ask because I grew up as a Buckeye fan my whole life. What was it like just playing in that game?
So it's crazy. I actually didn't play in that game because I had got hurt the week before.
No, but
so
you were part of it. Like, did you? I was asking, like, was it like? Did it feel different than like any other game you played at leading up to it?
Yes. So that was actually my third time. That was my third time playing Ohio State.
Yeah.
We played them twice when I was at Minnesota. The first time they came to Minnesota, and then the second time we went there. And that was my first time ever in the stadium.
Yeah.
So once we pulled up, it looks like a big Coliseum.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, this is different. Like you could just feel the energy once you enter the town. Yeah. I'm like, okay, you can feel it. You can feel it. Then once I pulled up to the stadium, I said, whoa, okay. This is what this is like. And then once we got in, and it was a night game too.
Yeah.
So then once we got in there, I said, okay, I see what this is. And then obviously when I played there, it was, they had Ezekiel Elliott. They had was it Cardale Jones?
You played the 2014 season when they won the national championship.
Yeah. Yeah. And they had some good dudes. They had some good guys. But again, like I said, even in Minnesota, I had played some of the best people. I played with some of the best people in college football at the time. And a lot of those guys have moved on to the pros. But again, going back there, it was fun. And this was obviously, it's the rivalry. The biggest rivalry in college. So it was fun being part of that. It was a good game for the most part until, later in the game, and then they took off. So but it was fun. It was fun just being able to experience that.
They always have a saying here. It's like you have 100,000 in the stadium, but you have 200,000 outside of it trying to get.
Oh yeah, definitely. Their fan base is ridiculous, and it's all about football. It's about nothing else but football in Michigan and beat Michigan.
Yeah, there's nothing. We could go 1-11, but if we beat Michigan, we were okay with it.
Hey, we had a good season.
Yeah. What was like? So you ended up going to the Fan Control League. What was making you decide to go there over other leagues like Arena and XFL? And XFL's shut down a little bit now, but
yeah. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually didn't have. I could have got drafted to the XFL, but that didn't happen. Yeah. So I didn't really have anybody else reach out to me.
Really?
I was at home training people, and they called me one day. They was like, "Hey, we want you to kind of come to this workout. We want you to be a part of this league." Yeah. And this was a week before the last workout. The last workout was in Houston, Texas. Yeah. I'm like, okay, because I usually don't answer. It's funny. I usually don't answer numbers that I just don't know. Yeah. And I'm like, let me pick this phone up. So then Coach Jenks called me. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you because I seen him at another camp. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I want you to come down here. Come to this camp, and then because we really want you to be a part of this league. So go down to the camp, do my thing, do what I had to do. And then like a couple weeks later, they say, hey, we want you to be a part of this league. I'm like, all right. So I'm reading up on the league. I'm like, yeah, this stuff is, this is different. Yeah. It's just not regular football. You know what I'm saying? It's fan control, fans call the plays, all this other stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just go ahead and do it, right? Yeah. Why not? I'm not really doing anything else. So I went ahead and did it. And that's just what happened. That's how I became part of the league.
One of your teammates came on the show. And he said his agent was telling him this might have been the best league he's played in because of Twitch and getting all the film. Even though it was like there were some aspects of it that people said that were different, it's
Yeah.
like got so many more people watching it than like any other minor league football before.
Yeah. So Coach Jenks was telling us we even had people from China watching.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Obviously, Twitch is a streaming platform, use a gaming platform. But being able to use that and monetize that and get people from all over the world to come watch is ridiculous. And my agent, I didn't even know about it. Again, because it was new and a lot of people hadn't heard about it. So I think it was a good idea for me to come and be able to get my name out there and also, my personal brand as well. So
yeah. What do you think? What was like the hardest part? Was there really a challenge from going from that small field indoor to like that big open field you're playing at outside?
At first when we were in practice and they were setting the cones up, I'm like, well, I really had too much space to work with.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, once that person lines up across you, that mental takes over and all that other stuff gets washed, it's washed out the window. It's like, hey, I'm about to beat this guy in front of me. So it wasn't too much of a difference.
Yeah. Final kind of question about the week. I have to ask because Braden was talking about this. He said, was there ever a play call you had called and you're like, man, this is not going to work? Because Braden Smith, he said he had one he had 3rd and goal at the 1 and they called a QB. They called a draw and he got just killed.
Oh man. So I would probably say QB sneak. Because the fans were called, it was crazy. It was one game, the fans probably called QB sneak. I would probably say like 6 times, like 5 or 6 times. And they called a QB sneak coming out the end zone.
Yeah.
I promise you. I'm like, what is going on? And you can hear Coach Jenks get mad. Like, what are they doing? What are they calling? Like, they cannot keep calling this. And it was funny. It wasn't Braden. I can't remember who it was, but they called QB sneak so many times that the QB just started audible in the play. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not running this ball anymore. My head hurts." It was funny. It was hilarious. But I would probably say QB sneak as well.
Yeah.
I'd probably say obviously, I'm a running back. I wish they would have ran the ball more.
Yeah.
Obviously the Wild Aces fan base, they know how to run the ball.
Yeah.
But the Zappers, obviously, we had Johnny and then we had Josh Gordon come in and everything. So obviously they want to see those guys play, but I wish we would have ran the ball more. We could have balanced it out. And even you can even see some of the fans saying, yo, we need to run the ball. We need to run the ball. But they just didn't want to run the ball like that.
Yeah. So, a lot of guys I was talking, they're getting some workouts with some teams. They got their name on the map. What are you working on, and what's like the future for, you're trying to make a jump to, down the line for another
Yeah,
week?
so right now, I'm putting my highlights together from what I had during the season to be able to send out to some teams. But right now I'm back home, personal training again, building that out, and then also got my own clothing line. It's called Beast Now. I've been working on that for the past couple of years now, and really, I think the FCF and I use that platform to really help my business grow, to get that name out there, and it's only going to continue to get bigger. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's hard to like make something, but like, down the line it'll be good.
Yeah. It's fun though. Being able to start your own business to be an entrepreneur. People are liking it too. So it's like I said, it's gonna continue to get the name out there, and I know you'll be seeing it again.
Yeah, same thing. It's like my podcast. It's gonna keep growing. Just start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you're only gonna grow too. So
yeah,
just continue to grind with that, and it's gonna take off. You got all the right people. You're doing all the right thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Final question. How do you want people to remember yourself when your football career is over?
I would say one that always will compete, right? Never took plays off, but 2 was being able and willing to help anybody. So when I would go to practice, I would talk to people, maybe help them with their footwork, give them some drills to do, or maybe it may be off the field too. It may be, hey, I can show you this stretch, or I can show you this recovery that'll better help your body for you to, be great at next practice. So I would just say somebody that was willing to, help anybody and give them pointers for them to become a better player or athlete.
Yeah. Well, Berkley, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, appreciate you.